Take a breath. Settle in. What I'm about to share isn't meant to alarm you. It's meant to illuminate. And there's an important difference between those two things. In 1966, a man named Anton LaVey founded the Church of Satan. 2 years later, he published the Satanic Bible. Most people dismissed it at the time, but ideas have a way of traveling. They adapt, they rebrand, they become background noise. What's fascinating is how many of LaVey's core principles have quietly surfaced in mainstream culture, not under his name, often not recognized as connected to their source. They've simply diffused. This isn't about panic. This isn't conspiracy. Think of it as intellectual archaeology. We're tracing ideas to understand where they came from. The goal is awareness, because understanding the ideas that shape your world is the first step toward engaging with it consciously. Let's explore 7 principles together, calmly, carefully. The first principle is foundational. Everything else builds on this. In LaVey's framework, the individual is the highest authority. There is no God above you, no moral code that predates your existence. You are your own deity. Your preferences, your instincts, your personal truth, these are the only standards that matter. Now listen to the language of contemporary culture. You do you. Live your truth. No one can tell you who to be. These phrases have become so common, they barely register as philosophy anymore. But embedded within them is a specific claim that truth is personal, that authenticity is self-defined, that external standards are obstacles, not guides. The self-help industry generates billions annually. Its central message is consistent. You already have everything you need inside you. Trust yourself. The answers are within. Christianity offers a different understanding. God is the ultimate authority. Human reason is valuable but limited. Humility before transcendent truth is a virtue. The self participates in something greater. What we observe in culture is a gradual inversion. The self moves from participant to sovereign. That shift carries weight worth noticing. If the first principle makes you your own authority, the second tells you what to do with that authority. Follow your desires. LaVey positioned his philosophy as the antithesis of Christian restraint. Where religion warned against excess, he celebrated it. Denial of desires, he argued, produces frustration and guilt. The healthy person indulges fully. Now listen to the messaging that surrounds you daily. Treat yourself. You deserve this. Life is too short to say no. The dominant cultural script is one of constant permission. Restraint is rebranded as repression. Discipline is framed as punishment. The person who says no is seen as missing out. Christianity has never been anti-pleasure. Joy, celebration, delight, these are woven throughout Scripture. But Christianity offers ordered pleasure, joy within boundaries, fulfillment through discipline, not despite it. LaVey promised indulgence leads to fulfillment, but observe carefully. The most indulgent generation in history is also the most anxious, the most uncertain of its purpose. Perhaps satisfaction isn't found where we've been told to look. This one touches something deep. Let's approach it gently. In LaVey's framework, gentle actions like turning the other cheek are seen as weakness. The strong individual responds to injury with retaliation. He called it the law of retaliation, an eye for an eye, without the tempering influence of grace. Observe the current cultural moment. When someone is perceived to have committed a moral violation, the response follows a pattern: public exposure, condemnation, demands for consequences. and notably, resistance to redemption. There's an implicit assumption that certain offenses permanently define a person, that forgiveness enables harm, that mercy is weakness disguised as virtue. Christian forgiveness doesn't deny harm, but it operates from a specific foundation. All people need grace. The measure you use will be measured back to you. Redemption remains possible. Vengeance never satisfies. It always demands more. Forgiveness is costly, but it might be the only thing that breaks the cycle. Something to sit with. Let me pause here for just a moment. I hope this has been valuable so far. If it's given you something to think about, I genuinely appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. Many of you watching haven't subscribed yet, and that one action helps this content reach more people. A like or comment would be wonderful too. I actually read them. The conversations there are genuinely enriching. Thank you for being here. All right, let's continue. In Christian theology, pride is described as the root sin. Lucifer's fall wasn't caused by lust or greed. It was caused by the belief that he deserved elevation, that his brilliance entitled him to more. LaVey inverted this entirely. In his framework, pride isn't the problem, it's the solution. Self-esteem, self-promotion, self-assertion, these are virtues to cultivate. Humility, conversely, is self-degradation. Consider social media architecture. The entire system is built around self-presentation. Profiles as personal brands, followers quantify influence, visibility equals value. The system consistently rewards self-promotion. It punishes hiddenness. Confidence has its place. Self-respect is appropriate. But notice what's absent from contemporary vocabulary: humility, deference, the acknowledgement of limitation, the capacity to say, "I was wrong," without spin. Christian humility isn't self-hatred. It's positioning yourself within a larger reality, freedom from needing constant validation, peace that doesn't depend on winning every comparison. There's a strange lightness to genuine humility. Law 5. The relativity of truth. This principle operates quietly, but its effects may be the most far-reaching. LaVey did not believe in objective morality. He viewed moral codes as human constructions, tools created by the powerful to control the weak. Good and evil weren't real categories. They were social conventions, arbitrary, negotiable. Listen to common phrases in contemporary discourse. That's your truth. Who's to say what's right? Morality is subjective. If truth is merely personal, constructive disagreement becomes impossible. There's no shared ground, no common standard. Debate reduces to power. Whoever controls the narrative determines what counts as true. Christianity makes a different claim. Truth exists. It holds regardless of human opinion. It can be discovered, aligned with, built upon. A stable foundation permits construction. Shifting sand does not. LaVey saw relativism as freedom. What it may produce is a different tyranny, the tyranny of whoever shouts loudest. Law 6. Humanity as merely animal. This principle often appears dressed in scientific language. That grants it cultural authority worth being aware of. LaVey was explicit. Humans are animals, not metaphorically, essentially. Just chemistry and survival. No soul, no divine image, no eternal dimension. This belief serves an important function. If there is no soul, there is no ultimate accountability. If humans are merely animals, following instinct isn't sin, it's nature. And if there's no sacred dimension to humanity, dignity becomes assigned rather than inherent. Let that land for a moment. What is assigned can be withdrawn. Contemporary thought often explains human behavior through biology alone, love as reproductive strategy, altruism as genetic self-interest, consciousness as useful illusion. If dignity is not inherent, the basis for human rights becomes unclear. Value becomes functional, and what lacks function can be discarded. Christianity stakes a different claim. Every human being is made in the image of God. Dignity is inherent, inviolable, present from conception to natural death, unchanged by circumstance or capability. Without this foundation, universal human dignity becomes difficult to establish. Law 7. The destruction of the sacred. We've arrived at the final principle. In many ways, it culminates everything before. LaVey didn't merely reject religious belief, he mocked it. His rituals were designed as inversions, the Black Mass, the profaning of sacred symbols. The point was philosophical, to demonstrate that nothing is ultimately sacred, that holiness is human construction, that anything revered can be deconstructed. Observe contemporary culture through this lens. Religious imagery appears in fashion and entertainment, often not to honor, but to provoke. Traditional institutions, marriage, family, childhood innocence, are frequently treated as suspect, structures requiring dismantling rather than reformation. But here's something to consider quietly. What does this cost? Humans appear to have a deep need for the sacred. Every culture throughout history has developed categories of the holy. This may be a sign of something essential about what we are. The sacred provides meaning, anchors identity, creates shared boundaries that allow community to form. When nothing is sacred, everything becomes transactional, consumable, and eventually, we become consumable too. Christianity offers a world where the sacred remains real, where God is genuinely holy, and because He is, we can be too. Let's step back now. 7 principles. The sovereignty of the self. Indulgence over restraint. Vengeance over forgiveness. Pride over humility. The relativity of truth. Humanity reduced to biology. And the dissolution of the sacred. These ideas weren't invented spontaneously. They were articulated decades ago from a specific source, and over time they've migrated from the margins to the mainstream. Most people who echo these ideas have never read LaVey. That's precisely the point. Ideas don't require conscious adoption to spread. They permeate, normalize, become the water we swim in without noticing. The purpose of this isn't alarm, it's recognition. Naming ideas is the first step towards freedom. Christianity offers an alternative framework, truth beyond personal preference, dignity inherent and sacred, forgiveness as strength, humility as wisdom, the self valuable because it participates in something eternal. These aren't just beliefs, they're foundations. The question going forward is simple. Will you recognize these ideas when you encounter them? And will you have a thoughtful response prepared? That's the value of understanding the world you live in. Not fear, not reactivity, just clarity. And from clarity, wisdom. Thank you for being here. Thank you for thinking alongside me. If this helped you see something more clearly, I'd be grateful if you'd share it with someone who might benefit. Subscribe if you'd like to continue exploring ideas like these. And if you have thoughts or questions, the comments are open. I genuinely read them. Take care of yourself. Think carefully, and I'll see you in the next one.